So with only 11 days out from my next show, I've been struggling, I'd say like the last week or so. It could be due to being on my cycle, hormones and all that kind of stuff, as well as being as lean as I am, and just the mind fuck that comes along with being so lean, and just kind of wanting to get back to like some kind of normalcy. But I have really had to dig deep and do a lot of mental work lately. This week alone, I have just realized it takes a little bit more while on my cycle to get my heart rate up, so I feel like I'm pushing even harder in cardio when physically I feel like my body can't keep up because I am on my cycle. So it's kind of weird. And I did have a bout on Saturday where I just kind of enjoyed myself, and I ate. I overate. I wouldn't necessarily say it was a crazy binge. I did have a binge last week, but I'm starting to see things are kind of getting out of control, where it's just more impulsive for me, and it's harder to kind of stop it when I'm in that moment. So I've just kind of had to step back and be like, okay, like we've only got 2 weeks left. At this point, I don't care what I weigh on show day. That's not going to affect how I feel or how I'm going to place. I have, at the lowest, gotten down 4 pounds since my first show. And of course, that was my issue, was conditioning. I needed to come in leaner. However, I do take my measurements as well. I measure, my waist, my hips, my glutes, and all of them are down a ½ inch since the last show. Now this week, specifically because I'm on my cycle, and mentally I'm just not where I would like to be. And to further cause any mental strain, I've decided to not step on the scale since I've been on my cycle. And especially since I did go off my macro protocols on Saturday. I have not punished myself by over-exercising or, restrictively cutting back my food. I'm just following the plan as we've had it. And I'm just letting my body do the work. I feel like the less stress I give, because the more and more I see that number on the scale, and if it's not moving or it's going up, then I feel like that just adds more stress to me. So I'm just trying to take it a little more lightheartedly right now. And also, like yesterday and today for cardio, I took it outside. I was like, you know what? I'm so sick of being tied to this treadmill. Like, I just can't do it right now. And the fact that I had realized between my last show and this show that I was not actually in like a good heart rate zone, which could have been keeping me from, losing more weight that I could have, or losing it quicker. I was like, right now while I'm on my cycle, while I'm in this mental space, I cannot physically push my body where it needs to be to, get my heart rate up and, to feel okay, especially for long durations, to be on there for like 45 minutes, 60 minutes, and being able to see that through. So I took it outside. I have a huge circle driveway, and it's got a slight incline. And yesterday, all I did was just walked. I walked around for 45 minutes in the morning. My heart rate probably wasn't as high as it could have been, but mentally I needed that change, and it felt great. I still got my steps in, my active minutes, I still did burn some calories, and I'm still following my nutrition protocols. So at this point, I'm like, you know what? We're like 12 days out. Like, what so much more is going to change? And I was like, you know what? I just need to kind of let my body just start giving it a little bit of a break, even though we're less than 2 weeks out. I need to listen to it so that I'm more worried about the reverse now at this point. So I'm trying to kind of set myself up for my reverse so that I don't go crazy on my reverse. So today I did the same thing. I went outside and I did some walking, actually I did like some cycles. I would run a few laps around or jog a few laps around, get my heart rate up, and then I would just kind of walk really fast around to kind of bring it back down, and then I'd pick back up. So kind of like intervals. I did not wear my heart rate monitor the last 2 days because I was like, you know what? Sometimes being tied to the numbers is just too much, and that's all you start to focus on. So right now I'm just like, okay, I'm checking the boxes, I'm getting the things done, and I'm happy. Like, I'm getting them done. I'm not dreading it. I'm not like beating myself up over it. And who knows, I might not step on that scale again until show day, honestly, at this point, because I'm just not letting it bother me. I want to go by how I look, how I feel, and I'm going to use my other measurements. I'm not using just that scale measurement anymore because it's getting me very stuck. And like I said, I want to start thinking about a reverse. I don't know if I'm going to do another show after this. I was thinking about doing an NPC show the weekend after this one. But money-wise, I think that's probably just not going to happen. And if anything, I know there's another OCB show in, I think, either late July or August in like Virginia, which is still fairly local. So, and I know a girl who's going to be doing that one. So at least that's something I could go into like a slight reverse, and then we kind of, prep again for that one show, and then maybe that would be my last one. It just depends on the outcome of this show and how I'm feeling. And a lot of it too is financial, and then that adds stress too. So, but yeah, that's just kind of what I've been doing this week. Like, I was like mentally, like I'm doing all the mental work. Like, I'm not pushing myself so hard physically. It doesn't mean I'm any less of an athlete or I'm, less of a person. It doesn't mean any of that. I'm just trying to do what's right for my body to still be in a healthy space, and to make sure that when I come out of this, I'm in a good place. I'm not like, okay, well, where do I go from here? Or the only thing to do from here is to just eat and stop exercising altogether. And so no, I want to be able to still keep all that in gradually as we reverse. And that's always been my weakest point anyway, was reversing. Of course, I did binge between my last shows, my last season. Those were only 3 weeks apart. This was about 5 weeks. So it's been a little bit longer. So I did go longer without binging. So I know that that's an improvement. And I've been able to kind of like bring myself back, being okay, like let's assess this, let's see why we're doing this, what we can do to fix it. So I'm putting in the mental work when and where I can, and I'm kind of prioritizing that right now, like just kind of checking myself throughout the day, like how are you feeling, like what's going on, what's so tough, what is it that's what are your things that you can control in this situation right now. So that's kind of where we're at right now this week. We're just going to kind of roll with it, and just kind of see, each day is going to get better, especially as like my cycle comes to an end. So hormonally, it's going to improve, my mood's going to shift, and knowing that, okay, oh my gosh, we're almost at peak week. So yes, we're almost at the second show, it's almost over. I'm hoping all of that just kind of, so I'm just trying to hang in there till then and do what I can and keep things in a safe space for myself. So that's about it for right now.